to start. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, my best wishes to each one of you for good health and a prosperous life. My name is Ravi Shankar Thandavan. I'm a founding member of Focus and the chairman for policy and advocacy. We're all logged in this afternoon to listen to some fabulous stuff on the technology called building information modeling. The topic is BIM in mega infrastructure projects. The Forum of Critical Utility Services is proud to bring this topic for discussion as it fits perfectly into what Focus has today been formed to contribute. We're delighted to start this program with a short video that captures the essence, the philosophy, the mission and vision of Focus. We are sure it will leave no doubt in you on the value that Focus is bringing to the construction industry in India. This very soon will become a global movement. May we have the video, please?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are delighted to present to you the Forum of Critical Utility Services, the acronym of which is FOCUS. Much as the acronym suggests, the role of the Forum of Critical Utility Services is to bring in focus all that concerns the construction industry. This is not just for India, but for a coordinated construction industry world over. For those of you who may not be aware, this initiative is to prepare and present a platform where all the verticals of the critical utility services of the construction industry forge into one formidable group that will strive in building unity, aid in diffusing misconceptions, and present itself as a platform for discussions amongst these bodies of professionals. This initiative was born on the 26th of October 2020, when the world was almost silent from the after effects of the pandemic. We say silent because the cry for help and resistance from the clutches of the pandemic were deafening. There simply was no place that was safe anywhere in the world. None of the formidable structures that man had erected was safe for protection from the pandemic. It was during these times that we decided on creating a platform so as to be able to present improved and concerted methodologies of developing projects that shall not just be sustainable or resilient, but also deliver safe environment and a valuable business opportunity to the promoters, not just for some time, but for long time to come. Times when another generation will inherit the good work that we do today. Our efforts begin with drawing the strength from the fields of architecture, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, safety, fire, security, illumination, vertical transportation, IBMS and IT, solid waste management, and last but not the least, facility management. Bring them together and forge them into one strong wheel of change to deliver structures that stand in harmony with Mother Nature on planet Earth. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is our mission. Only when we come together and share our ideas and aspirations will we find the stumbling blocks. It is here then that when we are together and focused towards one goal, we will jointly be able to understand and address our challenges as one formidable force. Not just a force in India, but for a global movement that will find solutions, opportunities, and the means to address productivity, safety, quality, developing skills, training, evolving standards, and ensuring their implementation, thereby becoming centers of excellence and setting benchmarks for generations to pursue and improve. And this is our vision. We have embarked upon reaching out to various verticals of the critical utilities services. We will thereafter jointly present our cause to the government and policymakers. We will present our vision to the builders. And we are confident that we will break the shackles of inequality, indifference, ignorance, and mistrust, and build a world that is one with nature. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not here to conjure a forum, but we are here to establish a body that shall have trust, integrity, and honesty for its foundation, and stand on the pillars of knowledge, commitment, enthusiasm, and foresight of its people. Our invitation to you is open. Come and become a part of Focus. It is your contribution and support to Focus that will make a difference to the new India that is being created. Let's join and make this the Bharat that we wear, shining, prosperous, bright, and a true world leader. Let's now focus.
I would now like to introduce our president, Mr. Vasudev and Suresh, who will deliver his address. Mr. Suresh has over 56 years of experience in housing, urban development, infrastructure, and real estate sectors, and sustainable development. He's a civil engineer from Anna University, College of Engineering, Gindi, Chennai. He has 13 years of experience dealing in BIS standards codes and National Building Code, where he continues to be associated for all the versions of NBC, where he is a vice chairman. He was in HUDCO for over 23 years, where he rose to be the chairman and managing director, and which was the time when HUDCO registered an all-round growth. He was the president of IBC, Naratco, and he is now the chairman of IGBC. He has received over 17 awards, the leading one being the Doyen of the Construction Industry by CIDC, Lifetime Achievement Award from IBC CIA, and the latest being the Gaurav 2020 Award from ACCE. He is our president, the president of the Forum of Critical Utility Services. May I now request Mr. Vasudev and Suresh, our president, to address the audience.
A very happy good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to all the 100 plus participants. I find it's only 118 now. They're already there. I know we are over 500 who are registered. I'm sure they'll be able to see that later if they're not participated, but I'm sure it's a very good, promising support for a very interesting theme of ours. Let me also greet Ravi, who has done the wonderful initiative for starting out the program and the wonderful video that has been shown to all of us about Focus. Let me also greet Lakshmi Narasimhan, who is there, who is our General Secretary, and Dr. Amarnath, who is going to be one of the important speakers, and Jatin Shah, who will be also speaking on the theme that we have on the most important thing of Bim and its application in the AEC sector for not only planning, design, construction, operation sector. And Dominic, the force behind the whole movement here, these are people whom I'm able to see directly. So my fraternal greetings to all of them. We have not even completed about 6 months time period. 26th of October is the time period when we started, and we have grown big in the shortest possible time, with chapters opened in Bangalore and subsequently in Mumbai, and Chennai will be joining very shortly, and the remaining part of the India and other parts of the world, with international coordination also taking place in some of our activities. This particular theme that we have under the knowledge series. The last knowledge series that we had was on fire safety related, and 3 international speakers spoke to us, and we had a phenomenal amount of response on that particular knowledge series number 1. And we are very happy that today's knowledge series number 2 has come on the topic of the BIM applications, which is the digital transformation, the section that is needed for the construction industry. And construction industry is playing a very, very important role in the construction of not only buildings as well as infrastructure. With a fast-pacing demographic growth, India going from 100 crores to 140 crores in about 20 years time period is a phenomenal growth. We have built more than in America in this 20 years time period. That's a message you all should understand. The America, with all its wealth and money and resources, we won't be able to handle the rebuilding programs the way we are trying to build into the houses or office buildings or schools or hospitals or IT parks or factories or all the asset class of buildings in all the cities and towns, as well as the infrastructure required for the same. So therefore, it's very necessary that we got to use all the resources in a very optimal manner, in a very efficient manner, very economic manner. And that's very important, that we can't afford to go for wasting of any of the resource, be it man-made material of building materials or other resources, or natural resources, be it energy or water or other products or forest resources, etc. So utilizing all the resources in an optimal, efficient way is the biggest theme that we have to do when the requirement, the demand for construction is phenomenal. The resources are very limited. How do you use it optimally is an important message over there. And therefore, we are trying large number of initiatives from the point of view of efficient design, efficient construction, and the infrastructure services. Safety and efficiency become an important common. Productivity of the process, construction process, also becoming important in a very large way. We are investing in a lot of funds into that. Green building movement is one area where you're trying to save energy, save water, and waste reduction coming. The new movement was launched yesterday by the IGBC as national chairman. We could do, along with the World Green Building Council, the net zero mission for India, where the net zero component of 2050 was launched yesterday, being the World Earth Day. And we are continuing that, particularly the green building movement, where over 7.77 billion square feet of green footprint has come through all the 28 rating system. For Indians to understand, that's about 777 crore of square feet of green buildings. It's a phenomenal aspect of the building sector where we are able to bring efficiency. Now, in addition to all that has got to happen, we got to see the whole process of the building construction industry, where so many actors come into the play over there. The architects, the civil engineers, the structural engineers, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, firefighting, including the IT, safety, security, lift installation, what have you. Think of all the things that is there. Anything that can add value to a building than your walls and roofs and floors and marble are all these services. If you don't have that, no activity can take place. And here is a group focus trying to concentrate on all those areas and to see the right level of integration, coordination coming on that. And if that is the principle on which focus is built upon, I'm so happy that the theme that we are going to discuss at this particular point of time is the importance of BIM as an important tool to work on this area. The digital transformation in the AEC sector to contribute at the level of planning, design, construction, and operation level. How do we deal with that? And that's what the important things of the BIM that can contribute in this particular sector. You will hear this is a very important area, and focus has got a distinct thrust area to deal with this. And what is equally important are 3 parts of the National Building Code of India, which you should reckon that. Even though other things were discussed in earlier sessions of the focus fora, I'm going to talk of Part 8, Section 5, Section 6 on the information communication technology, and the next one being the sustainability approach to sustainability, Part 11, and the last one being assets and facility management, which is Part 12 of the National Building Code. So you have the regulatory framework available there, and here is a tool that you can use from the planning stages, design stages, construction stages, completion stages, commissioning stages, operation stages and trying to see how the buildings are performing in a large way. Is the thing working? Is the air conditioning working? Lift working? Lighting working? Firefighting installation working? Are you getting the right efficiencies coming of energy saving, water saving, waste management efficiency, etc.? So here's a way by which you'll be able to get the benefits of implementing a BIM in a very large way through a coordinated approach. Integration, coordination, the biggest thing between all these multidisciplinary professionals who are going to put their action in different offices. They all have to do their job there. Architect can't do a structural engineer's job. A mechanical engineer, HVAC engineer can't do what the civil engineer does. The lighting engineer cannot do the others area. So also plumbing person will be different. The firefighting specialist will come. So each one of the specialists, the coordination comes. Part 0 of the National Building Code covers that. And this is an area where the BIM can contribute substantially in a larger or other faster project delivery for not only designing, detailing, the costing the one, including the scheduling aspect into a large way. You can even imagine, even before the first brick is laid or a earth groundbreaking is done, you can have visual simulation of the higher building quality that can come, which each one of their ideas being put over there. And more so at the delivery level, even if faster construction, prefabrication or precast elements to be brought in over there, with fewer accidents on job sites can come in as a result of the BIM application. And a virtual model for, most importantly, earlier conflict and error detection becomes an important component. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, this is an area where less amount of attention has been given till recently, and people all burned their fingers because there's a very high competition between all these service providers as well as the designers for the XYZ space in a 3-dimensional space, horizontally and vertically, where each of the piping can come, ducting can come. You can't have one conflict or the drawings will help. The 37 layers of drawings, one above the other, when you put that, you'll know where it can't come. If that's a water line or a air conditioning line or a lighting line or some other line, how do you ensure all that? That can be coming in the virtual model that will come over there. I'm sure you'll be hearing more about that from our master on the subject, and that is Dr. Amarnath. And most importantly, we never lose data. Transparency from idea to rebuild is a fantastic one. And we require this particular thing till the completed drawing, completion drawings, which are most important documents, which will come not only at the construction stage, but also at the final level as well. And there's a collaborative design. Higher building functionality will come between all the 3 or 4 of those people working together, and the builder or the developer or the client agency will have a lot of satisfaction of how well this collaboration has come over there. So along with the integration and coordination, I add this new word, collaboration, coming over there into a large way. And most important thing in all that, I must have the greatest opportunity to work after my HUDCO stint with one of the leading builders of eminence there, with major projects there. And I can tell you, with the way in which some of these aspects have been done in a very right way, a good 1.5 years time period for comprehensive design and detailing and preparation, and then you complete in 2.5 years. If you don't do that, you can have lesser time being spent here, then you can go into 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I have experience of dealing with one which is done ahead of time, also some which have been done delayed time period as well. So no change orders will bring budget reliability to the builder and the developer, and the one going to put up a project. Cost overrun is the one which they cannot afford to have that, and change in specification and design changes is another major problem, where one change that you do will have its impact coming on the other related one. So you got to do that. And if you do all these things put together, ladies and gentlemen, you get better data quality. Your life cycle building management comes over there. I told you about part 11 of the National Building Code. First time in the country, capital cost and the operating cost, CapEx and OpEx are being taught. How does the building perform? The proof of the pudding is in the eating. How does the building perform? In the air conditioning or the lighting or the lift or water or plumbing or sanitation or lift, what have you? Is it performing well or not? And that's the life cycle cost coming over there. And you got to see in a 60-year for the structural life, or maybe services will be a little lower, 20, 25 years. How does it function during the life cycle component? All this can be judged if you are able to have good amount of BIM applications coming over there. I'm sure you'll be hearing more of that. If you want to do that, you have to build an ecosystem in the Indian AEC sector. And that's the type of messages I've been able to hear from Dr. Amarnath many times, and I'm happy to be that we are having him to talk, even though he's not well. He has got a COVID attack yesterday, but still he is going to make the presentation. That's the type of passion he has got. He was responsible for the starting of the IBIMA, the Indian Bim Association, and I was happy to be a founder member of the IBIMA. And he has taught a lot of interesting things. I found that his inputs covered, as I understood him rightly, you can do the policy sector, where not only the players, the regulatory bodies, and all the building plans are now going to be submitted electronically. Yeah, there were 2,212 local bodies in the country out of the 4,713 local bodies who are taking your building plans. You don't require the 60 or 70 blueprints, 3 tons of the paper to be submitted building plan approval. You can submit everything on a stick. You can give all that particular thing. Electronic processing can come over there. And that's the way the regulatory body, the local body, or a RERA, or a funding agency like Atco, which I headed, if I'm able to get all the details right in the beginning, I can assess the project better, and also to insurance companies to deal with the type of risk mitigation measures to be done. And it will also equally cut through all the education institutions, young architects, engineers, builders, developers, MEP people, all of them also has to get a good exposure on this. And next one is a process sector, wherein all the important players that come over there, the owners, the operators, project managers, architects, engineers, developers, contractors, suppliers, facility managers, estimating quantity surveys. Each one of them will find as a part of the process how you'll get the right level of information. You can always do it without any of this particular thing, but you'll do it in a very crude manner. That's not the way a developed world does that. This is the way they do it in the right way, with the right level of BIM models for each one of the components, the drawings of phenomenal amount of accuracy and detailing. It can't be the situation where I'm going to put the 11th floor, I'll get the drawings for that only when the 9th floor is cast over. You can't do like that. It's not possible. So the last of the nail detailing is required if good projects are to be implemented. And therefore, process becomes an important component. And the third major component to drive it all is the technology field. And you require best technology applications, the BIM software, the BIM modeled survey database technologies, graphic information system, very, very important, because information to communicated going between the during construction phase to each one of them, any change happening, something has happened on the site, you require some time over and has happened of scheduling, which will have cost impact to reduce that. No further time will be lost. What type of changes to be done in the particular system? How do you ensure that they'll all come as part of the information during the and that can be reflected, and graphic information system becomes equally important, equally during the post-operation level, where you require continuous information 24/7 through the BMS system, building management system. BIM and BMS system is important because all good buildings worth its need with good assets and facility managers have got the BMS system to track the building management system of all the services. And therefore, the complementary technologies to related to that, as well as the equipments and peripherals for communication system. Communication becomes a very important pair, and it's necessary that we put along with your good architects and your structural engineers and the MEP specialists, also the best software developer teams and hardware developers and network providers team to work if you want to really put all this together. If you put it in the one word to close with, my closing remark is, if you want to support the Indian AEC sector in a big way to build capabilities in delivering the digital twin. I'm using the word for the first time now, but what exactly is BIM and digital twin is an area you will slowly understand by the time Amarnath makes his full presentation. Are the 3 levels of technical, which I already told that, managerial, how do you deal with that? How do you cope with that? How every architect will also become BIM friendly, every civil engineer becomes BIM friendly, structural engineer becomes BIM friendly, MEP becomes BIM friendly, and how do you manage that particular thing and cutting across all of them, making them understand equally that there's a dimension beyond their own specialization area. That's why in focus also we have put this particular area important. And the last one is strategic. At what point of time each of them get intervening, and where do you give the right level of signals? Where do you get the right wake-up call? Right? Where do you get the information input that can help us to complete all this particular project in a large way? And a major amount of awareness is needed on the benefits of BIM and the digital twin in application or the building industry, namely not only private sector builders, government sector builders and developers for all their development program. Not only buildings, other construction also, we can use that infrastructure construction also important, and major dissemination things in terms of standard, the type of education through dissemination as well as curriculum development becomes an important. Mandating BIM, most important in all our building and infrastructure city projects should be one of the major decisions coming. Without a BIM being itself, good companies like Larsen and Tubro and various other big builders worth its name are already using this particular thing. So how do you deal with that particular thing becomes an important component. And you also have to give a major amount of capacity building and training in this particular thing for Indian construction industry people to deal with that. I would like to stop at this point of time. I must take a little more time than what I thought I should, but I'm sure that will set a stage for everybody to understand, to hear Amarnath as well as Jatin in detail after this my initial opening presentation on that. Full support for the BIM initiative for the digital transformation of the AEC sector from concept, design, construction, completion, and operation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Suresh. Thank you very much. I think you did set, the stage for Mr. Amarnath to present. Thank you there. As Mr. Suresh has said, it's really a hot and a popular topic, not just for you, but also for us as well here at Focus. This webinar on how various professions are undergoing a digital transformation through the implementation of building information modeling is our baby step as part of the knowledge series. It simply today in construction is unimaginable for professionals to think of any other way other than using BIM. For it has radicalized the way stakeholders engage in designing, planning, executing, procuring, managing project costs, on-time delivery, increasing earnings, etc. in the construction world. Interestingly, BIM is also allowing people to grow in their careers, spend more time with families, increase profits for businesses, improve coordination among departments, identify gaps and aid in solving challenges, deliver projects without mistakes. In short, it is delivering health, happiness, and prosperity. How it is delivering all this, Dr. Amarnath, President, BIM Association and Vertical Chairman of BIM at Focus will present this evening. Dr. Amarnath Chengu Badrinath is playing an active role as an advisory member for several Digital Built India initiatives. He is the founding president of the National BIM Society, India Building Information Modeling Association, that focuses on digital transformation of Indian AECO sector. He's serving as head BIM strategy at Larsen and Tubro Construction. And we are here very proud that he's also the chairman BIM at Focus, the Forum of Critical Utility Services. It is over to you, Dr. Amarnath.
Thank you, sir. Let me share my screen. Okay. Thank you for all the audience and the Focus team, our team, for having this BIM session. And one good thing I see in this Focus meetings is you have people from multidisciplinary. Just before this session, we had one with Council of Architecture, only architects present. And there are some sessions with Builders Association or CREDAI or other agencies. But here I can find people from different sectors and also for forming that focus. So I like to address on this BIM, which is a multidisciplinary, which is for all of us, as Suresh sir has explained about how it makes importance for all of us to be part of the BIM journey in the project. Today we'll be discussing about BIM in mega infrastructure projects. And here is my WhatsApp number. Anyone like to connect, are welcome. So for me, if you ask what is BIM, it's all about data management in the projects. And I would say it's a better way of project management. It's a digital way of project management. And the reason is we are speaking about small scale, mid scale, large scale buildings, infrastructures, and cities. And different phases in the project start from the conceptual, develop, detail, design, then the construction, handover, maintenance, demolition, recycle. And there are a number of organizations taking part in this construction to be successful. They may be from a architecture background, engineering background, contractors, subcontractors, fabricators, green building consultants, and also facility maintenance team and XYZ organizations. So what happens here is when these parties are coming in for the project in the traditional approach, the data is missing. When I want the data from the design data back in the construction phase and the construction data back in the operation phase, and after 10 years of operation, I need something which had happened 5 years of operation time. It becomes very difficult to get that data on the right time. And also during the construction and the data sharing becomes a little bit difficult because all of us are not coming from the same organization. They are from different organizations. It's a temporary team formed for the projects. And there may be some concerns about what data can be shared, what cannot be shared, which need to properly be defined in the contracts. And that's where the data management comes into picture. And whenever any party in the project needs some information related to the project for better project management, they should be able to get the data. And how that data gets shared is through the BIM platforms. So looking into this slide, you can see the top one, it's saying about different phases of the project. Stage 1, where the client and the consultants come together to collect the site data. Stage 2, where the architects plays the major role to bring in the conceptual model with the orientations and so on. Stage 3, where the structural and other divisions comes in developing the BIM models in detail. Stage 4 is a technical design where you have architecture, structure, MEP, plumbing, fire protection, electrical arm systems, interiors, and other divisions coming into picture where they develop the models. And that is combined together to identify the clashes and then resolve it before it goes on the site for the activities. And then comes a stage 5, build and commission, where the contractor and the subcontractors plays the major role, including the fabricators, where the same BIM model is handed over from the stage 4 to the stage 5 for the contractors for using it for the site activities, which may be for time planning, tracking and monitoring, cost planning, tracking, monitoring, safety planning, logistics, construction management, procurement, and several other usage for the site activities. And this is where once the BIM model has been handed over for the construction team, any changes happening on the site that need to be updated back to the BIM model. And that's how you are handing over the digital twin model during the stage 6 to the maintenance team and the clients. So when we say digital twin, it's a virtual asset, that is BIM model, which is a replica of your physical asset. Because what we plan in the initial stages, which is a technical design BIM model, it is nothing but a plan. But on the side, there may be a lot of changes coming in. When you want to update the changes on the model, then it becomes a digital twin model. Since BIM was not taking further journey from the technical design model to the further stages and handing over the digital twin model to the clients, so that's the reason the digital twin or iTwin or other terms people use had come in. So it's only whatever people may be speaking, virtual design, construction, BIM, digital twin, digital engineering, digitalization, digital transformation, all of them boils back to the data management through the BIM models. So looking into the above slide, there are 3 items in the BIM model which comes in. One is graphical. That means how detailed is my object libraries in the model. And non-graphical, which is nothing but the parameters about the dimensions or the installation dates or any other parameters related to particular objects. Those are non-graphical. And then comes a documentation, for example, equipment installed and their installation documentation. So all these 3 items keep on increasing from the stage 1 to the stage 6. Now the situation, if it's a traditional approach, are we able to access this data any point of time? It becomes very difficult. But when BIM is there, you have the model, you click on the object, it may be door, a window, or equipment. you have the parameters related to that, including the installation dates, warranty period, everything, and also warranty details and installation way it has been done and its documentation. All the information which has been generated across the life cycle stages is properly categorized. We also call it as a data drops, because if I want some data from the design phase, I just click on the data drop 4, I can see what all the data that has been generated by multiple parties involved in the project. And it becomes easier for any point of time, because at the major, when I say project, operations is a main area where the project facility is going to be utilized for another 40-50 years. And if you don't have the right data at any point of time during the operation, it becomes very challenging for the smart facility management. And that's where BIM plays a major role. And you may be hearing the terms now and then, like drone usage for data capture, photogrammetry, and using a 3D printing for scaled models or for real 3D printing of the facility. Construction automation, where you see the automation of all construction equipments, and laser scanning, where you use this kind of equipments for capturing the point cloud of the existing facility, or use it for progress monitoring, and then develop the model from the BIM model from the point cloud. You may be seeing Internet of Things, AI usage for construction and operation. Again, it's about linking this data back to the BIM model. And prefabrication, once you have the BIM model with some level of detail like 350, you'll be able to link it with the CNC machine for easier fabrication as per the requirements, and also help in procuring based on the planned dates. So all these terms are coming in to support the BIM, which is nothing but a data management in a particular model. So looking into the global trends, today we are speaking about BIM here, but from the past 3 decades, BIM is there in the global sector, and a lot of developments happening every day. It's a very dynamic developments happening. In fact, the person who was called founder of BIM has expired recently, previous 2-3 months before. So BIM is so old by now. So there is a different kind of developments in these regions. If you say the Nordic region, it's more of a software, BIM software related developments, and UK, Scottish, this kind of places is more on a policy standardizing the implementation. Some of the countries like India and other developing countries, more of providing the BIM services to other countries, where since it's a cheap labor and the labor which follows the instructions, so we get that kind of projects for developing the model, documentation, drawing, and converting the model from the point clouds. Very basic in model development, which is not a full BIM implementation. And that kind of capacity in the Indian sector is enormous. And that because this kind of companies in Indian market are in hundreds, more than 200 to 300 companies. It may be small scale startups, maybe 10 to 50 employees, to the 500 to 1,000 employees. So any country, maybe the Indian team is providing roughly these BIM services to 50 plus countries. And some countries like Gulf, they're more on implementation, bringing the technologies, expertise on site and get it implemented. Some countries do focus on the education and some on other areas. So BIM research, whatever we are able to use as a software or a standards or a procedures, is now available because of the R&D efforts by the researchers back from past 3 decades. Looking into the kind of forums, like we have a national forums here, the focus is one, and India BIM Association is another one. Any community which is on a particular profession gets built. Similarly for BIM, there are roughly 40 plus forums in different regions, like how we have India BIM Association, Canada has a Canada BIM Council, Brazil has a Brazil BIM Forum, Africa has a BIM Africa, Turkey has a BIM for Turkey. Like that, every country has their own BIM communities. And it becomes a need for having that team coming together, the global team, to form a global BIM forum for formulating the global standards, organizing global events, and for having a global certified education system. And that's where we are all looking to come together. Currently, we have, as India BIM Association, we had MOUs with almost 4 to 5 forums, and taking it further with another 30 plus. And day to day, all these forums got formulated just 5 to 6 years from now before. So it's all very dynamic in terms of BIM. And every month or something, there's a lot of developments. Every day, every week, there is 1 or 2 events happening globally on BIM. So these are the 50 BIM forums, which were identified from 40 countries. And our India BIM Association is one of them. Looking into the India BIM Association, why do we need it? It's mainly to build an ecosystem in Indian AEC sector. When I say AEC, that's where it comes in a multidisciplinary architecture, engineering, construction, and operation. As Suresh sir was already explaining these things, when we bring these policymakers, industry people, and the technology vendors together to develop in the Indian sector, then only the BIM implementation happens to its full level. When it comes to BIM, especially the software plays a major role. There are a set of software developers, roughly 25 to 30 software vendors in the market. It may be Autodesk, Bentley, Trimble, Dassault. And also I see there are some of the people from Invicara here, Bexel, Aeco, Onuma Systems, Archibus. They're all BIM related tech vendors providing the BIM solutions for us to use. And each of these vendors have a different BIM softwares, because when I want to implement BIM in a project, there's roughly 15 to 20 softwares that I need to use. Some softwares for conceptual models, some for modeling, some for time planning, cost planning, different types of simulations for safety planning, quality control. You have different set of softwares to be used. And the main thing which is required is integrating these platforms, which is a main challenge, because interoperability plays a major role. I use some software from XYZ vendor, and then I use another software from ABC vendor. It becomes difficult to bring that. So there are two types of vendors in the market. One is open BIM, another one is closed BIM. Open BIM vendors are like, they make sure you will be able to use their softwares and also the deliverables from the software with another software vendor software. Closed BIM people are mainly looking into making sure that you are part of their vendor softwares only. So it's important for you to make these decisions which softwares you go with, which are very interoperable. And there are also softwares. Main reason when I hear from small scale, mid scale companies, they say software is too expensive or hardware requirements is too high, and professionals ready to work on these solutions are a bit expensive. Now, these are the kind of concerns we hear from them. Softwares are not expensive. There is a software for a modeling which costs you 1 to 1.5 lakh per year, and there is also a software which costs you 10 to 12,000 per year. So it's all about how you find the solutions, the one which fit for you. And also it's not required to purchase a license for the complete year. You can purchase on a monthly basis. You want it for 2 months, use it for 2 months. Want it for 5 months, use it for 5 months, like that. So it's a very much strategic decision to be made to identify this. And the main role is also by policy, because currently India also, we don't have a national BIM codes. And also we don't have, it's important to bring in BIM in the education system in our Indian AEC sector. And also regulatory bodies and education institutions and research centers to be a little bit active on the BIM area. And the industry people, as we all know, most of the time it's a architectural team, especially it gets limited to design phase. But if you take it further for construction activities, it plays a major role. And that's where you get the digital twin at the end of handover. And each of these people, owners, project managers, operators, architects, engineers, everyone has a role to play in the BIM. It's not that everyone need to focus on the software. Based on a technical, managerial, and strategic role, they have something to deliver. When it comes to BIM in the projects, people usually say we have BIM in our project, but we don't know what is the maturity level of that BIM in that project. So this is a maturity scale which was developed by Mark Bjorn Melvin Richards. And further, many of the countries are following that. So level 0 means during the design, construction, operation, there is no BIM. Level 1, you're using BIM for design, and there is some organizational specific standards, and there is no much of collaboration here. BIM is only used for design and simulation activities. When it comes to level 2, BIM is used for design and construction activities, and the digital twin comes into picture here. And also you have a common data environment between the design and the contractors. And you have a national standards available to use it. And people, almost the construction, subcontractor, fabricator, design teams, everyone are aligned with the BIM way of working. Level 3 is where you have to use BIM for design, construction, and operation phases. And you should be able to follow the ISO BIM standards. And also a common data environment should be there for all the phases to come together, parties. And also the most important thing is the collaboration, communication, coordination, which happens at the best at this level 3, which is not yet in the market. What's happening here is the software vendors are now working on converting all the solutions into cloud-based, so that in level 3 you should have all cloud-based. You don't need to install the software; it's only log in and work on it. And ISO standards, it's on evolution. There are some parts for 19650 which has come, and other codes are yet to come. And also when we look into the overall sector, design, construction, operation, all the sector organizations are not fully matured with BIM. And when a project is not delivered by all these people which is fully matured, then it's not a matured BIM in the projects. And when you're speaking about the return on investment also multiplies based on level 1 and 2 and 3. Level 1, if I'm expecting some X percentage of returns, it gets at least double in level 2. And level 3, you get at least 4 to 5 times of the return on investment, because operation period is for a long time. So when someone sees that, okay, we are not getting return on investment after implementing BIM, that's because they're not implementing BIM to the best level possible. And it needs ecosystem building within a company and among the companies in the country. And that's where is our focus. Coming to our company where I work currently, it's Larsen Togo. You will be seeing most of the mega scale projects happening here. And it's difficult to tell what all the type of projects, but almost all kind of sector projects we do. I will just give you a brief on that further. Just play a short video for you here on this is a Delhi airport project model. And most of the airport projects in India are with the mandates on BIM requirements, especially if you see the Bangalore airport, which has a full digital twin delivery requirement.
Your voice can be a little more.
This is for a Hyderabad airport project.
Speak into the mic, maybe.
So I will also give you some brief on what are the type of projects we currently deal with BIM in our company. It's all mega scale projects. One is the airport kind of projects, which we deal with Delhi airport, Hyderabad airport, Bangalore airport, Chennai airport, and few of the other countries' airport projects, where even airport authority has mandated BIM for the projects. Next, the residential projects, where BIM has started its way journey through these kind of projects, where it becomes much easier for the clients to have a better visualization walkthrough and also use it for further implementation benefits. Commercial projects also having BIM requirement, but most of the projects we do are not always mandate from the client side. It's an internal business way of working we deal with. There are some projects with a client mandate and many of the projects with no mandate, but still we go with BIM for those projects. Because during construction phase, we make sure we will have a lot of benefits to reap from. And we are taking our journey way forward to make sure this happens in step-by-step procedures. I'll also brief about what is our strategy in the company. The stadium project, for smart infrastructure projects, we're also using BIM. This for water treatments, number one, in this kind of government sector projects, there's no BIM mandate, but still our teams have realized the benefits of having this and giving a better experience to client and data sharing. So most of the water treatment plants are done with BIM. Especially for metros, whichever the metro projects you see, there is some level of BIM. I'm not saying the complete BIM or a digital twin. There's some level of BIM maybe for modeling, planning, common data environment, and also data sharing, a little bit of collaboration, having a BIM team aligned, building the BIM team in the projects. There's some level of BIM and also client walkthroughs. We're using it for metro, ports, and harbors. Also for nuclear special bridges, especially for metallurgical and material handling, BIM plays a major role here, because you have multiple number of components. And if they're not fabricated as per the scale requirement, becomes a challenging for installation and also for procurement. And that's where BIM plays a major role. And we see a lot of benefits in terms of time planning here with the BIM model linked for it, what we call it as a 4D BIM. And this kind of returns are realized very well, and also for procurement planning and also client walkthrough. Also used for railway projects. The last image you see is for mainly laser scanning to capture the point cloud data. Used also for geostructure projects, power transmissions and distribution projects. Here plays a major role because most of our global clients are saying BIM as a requirement, and the client themselves have the BIM team to do the quality check, progress monitoring, and they will be checking now and then about the progress, what happening. So it becomes a very much requirement for us to work on BIM in these projects. And looking as a MNC, looking into the projects globally, LNT, we want to make sure we have a capable BIM team so that we'll be able to pitch for more projects globally. Looking into safe and smart city projects, we have a smart word communication center, which is dealing with setting up the data centers, surveillance cameras, and XYZ things, which is respect to digitalizing the cities. BIM also, we feel it's very much important here. Looking into some countries, they have the cities cloned. That means they laser scan the cities, and then they have the BIM model built on out of it, which is used further through the data centers for smart city management. And this is happening, at least I can say 4 to 5 cities are doing this globally, and it's a way forward. Looking into the smart cities, we have so many forums speaking and addressing about smart cities, but it's also important for us to understand what is this smart city. So this is categorized into 4 levels to understand the maturity of BIM in the smart cities. Level 0 and 1, it's an amateur way of implementing BIM. Level 2 is a mature way. Level 3 is sophisticated. The same like how I show the maturity model for buildings and infrastructure before, this applies for the smart cities. And across the surveying, planning and design, construction and operation phases. Level 0 and 1 for surveying is like using total station, traditional theory and chain. Levels for the planning and design, it's more of drawing, sketches, papers, and CAD/CAM software, digitalized maps. For construction, it's all about traditional machinery, paper construction drawings. For operations, it's all about facility management using the spreadsheets. This is how a city, when we say a city, this is how it has been done. When we say a smart city, to some level, that is where level 2 comes in, mature. Using the scanning tools, remote sensing, and so on for surveying, CAD, BIM, and GIS and 3D point clouds for planning and design. Using BIM, GIS, and GNSS enabled mission control systems for construction. BIM and GIS come together for facility management. When we say the best way of delivering BIM in a smart city, for surveying, you should be able to use LiDAR, mobile mapping technologies, drones, GPR, acoustic locating systems, and so on. For planning and design, we call it as a digital twin here again, because you have the BIM models of different infrastructures and buildings, and the GIS data and the Internet of Things of the cities coming together to form a design model, a cloned smart city model, also using reality capture, bidirectional mixed reality design usage. For construction, it's all about additive construction using 3D printing, prefab, modular construction, robotics. If I say about operations, it's all about digital twin again, where you have the integrated BIM, GIS, and Internet of Things, and big data analytics, sensor, and its data flow. All this thing comes into sophisticated smart city planning. So the major missing thing in these days is, if you say about smart cities in India, I would say they may be somewhere in level 1 and 2. They are not to the level 3 yet. And level 3 is where which will help you to realize the benefits out of smart city planning. And this is where we need to look for. And that's where BIM becomes a major requirement. GIS becomes a major requirement. Whatever you are saying, AI, IoT, sensors, data, all this becomes a major requirement. I'll just show you some of the slides which will say about the current way of working in our company. We use BIM implementation for design, especially for developing the models, design reviews, doing the class detection within the models, so that we can avoid the rework. Using it for extracting the 2D drawings and also develop the BIM execution plans. For planning phase, we use it for 4D BIM. We integrate the model with the timeline so that you will be able to see the simulations, and also to extract the quantities from the model, because for cost calculation, this plays a major role. And when you do a traditional approach, it becomes challenging because quantities keep changing when the construction starts or a design alterations happen. and also can be linked with the cost planning and also monitoring. For field BIM activities, we are mainly using it for visualization, for 3D coordination, site analysis, for site utilization planning, 3D control and planning. There are many other applications, but I'm just showing you the ones which we are using in the company. But we want to make sure most of that BIM applications come into the implementation. Being an EPC, starting from design, construction, and handover, we want to take the best usage of BIM in the projects. And this is for common data environment. Common data environment is nothing special. It's an environment which has a common data which belongs to all the parties in the project. And that we can say as a cloud, because I cannot store that data in my computer or some other computer. I need to have a cloud, which is a data centers, and then taking a part of that as a cloud for your projects. Usually private companies are there to provide you whatever the requirements are. And also you can set up your own internal servers to do this. And what it means is I have the BIM model placed on this central location and given access to everyone from the design, construction, handover, and also for the client, so that any change, all the changes are made on this single platform and everyone are able to access it. That's where we say common data environment. Currently, what has happened is CD is sometimes limited to only design activities. Sometimes it's getting both for design and construction activities. And actual requirement is having a one common data environment for design, construction, and operation, and which is still a requirement. Document management, we use it for field BIM like safety, quality, and other activities. Not all the projects, but we start testing in some of the projects. Using it for model coordinations. We also use it for immersive experiences, like using the virtual reality, augmented reality, or mixed reality. We will, if you look into the market, you have this kind of devices like HTC Vive, Google Cardboard, Oculus, Windows mixed reality, Microsoft HoloLens, where the below ones, what you see is for virtual reality, HoloLens is for augmented reality, Windows mixed reality is for mixed reality. So they have a different level of experiences that can bring for a client or the other team in the project to realize what it's going to be built and also how it is getting built. And we also use this VR devices for some of the projects, and also AR, HoloLens, we use it. So these are some of the project sites. If you see this, the left image is from our Chennai EDRC center from the water treatment division. They have a very simple setup, but still it gives a better client experience. Whenever the client is coming to their division, they give them this experience so that they get to realize how their project is going to get built. The right side images you see is some of the project sites where they do use this VR for the client reviews and other stakeholders. We also working on some of the projects on safety, where it still need to be realized in a better way, because safety plays a major role in any construction. And when you have a BIM model, there are some of the softwares like Synchro, Fuser. You can just plug in your BIM model and it will show you what are the pinpoints where the safety precautions to be taken, where if there is a barricade to be fixed, or if there is any hazardous inspection process, or if there is any kind of high fall which may happen, or if there is any heavy weight lifting happening through the cranes, and which becomes a zone where people cannot walk. All these signs will be given through the software solutions, and need to be proper simulations can be done and site training can be delivered to make sure not much of safety, not much of hazards happen on the site. Looking into our company, we do have a strategy plan. Being a head BIM strategy in the company, we are coordinating with each of the divisions, ICs. We call it as independent companies, to make sure to take the buy-in from them. What is the current situations? What is their thinking of way forward, and plan out our strategy plan for each of these independent companies. What should be their focus on the 3 years plan? Just give you a flavor on this. 2021, when we say convergence, it's all about different divisions. When I say procurement, supply chain, tendering, contracts, planning, safety, quality, design, execution, make sure all of these people are able to align with BIM way of working. That means you need to do a lot of trainings for these divisions and bring them on board to make sure they can give a holistic BIM project implementation. Phase 2 is all about digital expertise, where you have all this kind of division people readily available for the projects and able to kickstart at least one project from each project type, maybe one for airports, one for metros, one for HSR, one for water treatment, one for power transmissions, one for transportation infra. That's where our focus. Phase 3 is all about, it's not only about a company transformation, because when I want to deliver a project with a complete BIM, it's about ecosystem. You are bringing in a partners for your projects as a subcontractors or a fabricators or other parties. You need to make sure you bring the BIM aligned companies. So we want to make sure by 2023 we should have all the BIM aligned companies to take part in our projects. And this is our strategy plan. It was signed off and very much aligned by each of the independent companies. They want to go with this, but it takes its own time to have this working. It's not a small company though, which deals with hundreds of projects, which is mega scale and different disciplines. So if you look into L&T construction, Larsen and Toubro is a big company. Within that, you have L&T construction, you have L&T realty, L&T hydrocarbon, LTI. So you have different set of companies. However, L&T construction is a big scale company within L&T. You have different independent companies like buildings and factories, transportation infra, heavy civil, power transmission, water treatment, metallurgical, geostructure, smart world communications, renewable energy. We want to make sure BIM is the way of working for all these independent companies. Each of these companies have their own team in, these are the different divisions in the company. Each company has its own divisions, all these 8 divisions: design, execution, planning, quality, safety, procurement, tendering, formwork. So currently BIM, if you see many of the companies, it's limits to design and a bit on planning, and maybe CD and this kind of things comes for execution. But when you really want to realize BIM benefits, you want to make sure all these parties take a buy-in and work the BIM way of working. So that's our agenda. And looking into Bim mandates, which is coming globally, there's also procurement method changing. When Bim is coming as a mandate in the global project, they're also saying IPD should be the procurement method, not other kind of procurement methods, which means that all the parties involved in the projects takes the buy-in from the day one, and every party involved is BIM aligned. And we need to make sure we facilitate a better collaboration through the online for all these parties, and set up a contract mechanism so that it's an open collaboration, because I don't need to keep pinging some other party to get the information what I can get. You can set the security systems, what can be shared, what cannot be shared with each parties, but I don't need to contact with anyone for getting the data, because when you contact and want to get the data, it takes its own time. Minimize the paper-based working and check and manage interferences digitally. Create a culture of trust and sharing. This is what's missing in many of the projects. When it comes to a project, it's a temporary team getting formulated. The team may be coming from 5 to 10 organizations, and which may work together for 1 to 2 to 3 years to 5 years. But the trust and sharing becomes a challenge here. So we need to build that culture for sharing the data, because if I don't get the right data from the design for the planning, the project client is the one going to face the challenges at the end. Or at the operations, I want to get something on the construction data. If I don't get, then it's a challenge for the client again. So it's about ecosystem within a project. Communicate design ideas using the visualization, like immersive experiences, what we discussed before. And being part of this company, I'm in charge of setting up the strategy plans for the company, and also heading the BIM Academy. We do have an internal academy which will do trainings based on the project requirements, and also take care of getting the company for ISO BIM certification. So these are our 3 of the roles which I play. This one is based on the awareness sessions which we do on different colleges. This is the BIM Academy sessions we do in different site offices, or it may be our main centers. We have our BIM academies in Chennai, Bombay, Kolkata, Faridabad. And also project basis, we bring them on, we bring the experts on the site. For example, if you see the below one, it's a Bangalore airport project where we have the Mexican expert teaching about the dynamo for the site team. So we have different requirements, which are trainings are very much aligned with the project requirements. Recently, we have set up an experience center in our Chennai campus, This is the main reason is to activate the different strategy initiatives what we want to have on BIM. So we want to bring the youngsters here of the company and activate them and send them for the projects and do some POCs here. Looking into the job category, because I don't know how many of you are job related, but this is applicable for even the people who are running the companies. Usually in the BIM, there are three categories of job roles. One is technical, second is managerial, third is strategic, as Vasudev sir was also telling on this. I want to stress a bit on this. When I say technical, a person is capable, a profession who is capable of using the BIM software. It may be for the design related or a construction related or operation related. He is called a technical BIM person. It's not required that you should know all the softwares in the life cycle. It's only related to your job role. Managerial is about design manager, construction manager, facility manager, project manager. These experts focus more on understanding the way of working of the technical team and make sure the deliverables are delivered to the client as per the requirements, and also focus on the standardizing the implementation. Strategic, it's more of a leadership team, because what's happening in the global sector is most of the clients are mandating. If you ask me, developments on BIM is happening in more than 80 to 90 countries, and BIM mandates is already there in 15 to 20 countries. And also BIM education in the university levels are delivered in more than 30, 40 countries. The major challenge here is when the client mandates are coming in, there's a requirement to go with BIM. There may be small scale, mid scale, large scale companies, or it may be the supporting companies which may not be aligned with BIM. They need to set up their strategic plans for the way forward. So this is where the strategic team comes in. It may be a strategic BIM strategy coordinator, strategy manager, strategy head, or a digital director. This kind of job roles come in. So what these people do is they look into companies' current situations, have a series of workshops with their senior executives, understand their vision, mission, goals, objectives, define the quarterly plans, and support and handhold on these lines. So looking into the market, supply versus demand. Demand is low and supply is high for the technical. Managerial is more supply and demand equal. Strategic, supply is less and demand is higher in the market, Indian market. And the main thing what I see, this I wanted to bring in, it's not even academia session, but all these academicians who are coming out of these universities, at least these top universities, you can look into number of people having the startups after they finish their education. So looking into our Indian education system, how many of startups are being formed from each of these universities? So this becomes important, because when the education is delivered to top notch and more on a futuristic, the people will be able to plan a startups. And this is one of the things that need to be addressed in our Indian education system, so that none of our kids or even ourselves run away for other countries for learning, because proper education should be delivered within our country. And that's it from my side. Any queries, you're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Amarnath. That was a very interesting presentation. We have architect Jatin Shah, Colliers International India Managing Director, Technical Due Diligence, who will summarize Dr. Amarnath's presentation and handle Q&A. Immediately after we have, we thank our sponsors. Mrs. Brahma Hikvision is a very strong partner to Focus and has since our inception been a pillar of support to all Focus's initiatives. Now I have the honor of introducing architect Jatin Shah. Jatin is a seasoned real estate player with over 19 years of project management experience, with a master's in building engineering and management from SPA New Delhi and a bachelor in architecture. Currently with Colliers is MD of Technical Due Diligence Vertical and is part of Office of the Chairman to advise on all technical points, sharing his expertise, knowledge, and leadership skills across multiple projects. Clients have benefited through the suggestions made by Jatin on cost, time, and buildability. His capability as a real estate professional is common industry knowledge. He has worked with leading financial institutions to provide unbiased techno-commercial advice to investors, lenders, and occupiers for them to take informed decisions. That's Architect Jatin Shah, MD, Colliers International. Architect
Thank you,
Jatin,
Ravi.
may I ask you to please take it on from here?
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you so much for the warm introduction. A warm welcome to all of you. It was a great presentation, Dr. Ramanath, and the kind of knowledge sharing which happened on this platform was amazing. The BIM and the possibilities, and what you rightly mentioned, that BIM is about digital way of project management. BIM actually allows the people from diverse skills and professions to engage into integrated system. So what more can BIM do and how efficient it can do? What Dr. Amarnath mentioned, that it can accelerate among all of us, the designers, the constructors, the planners, and how we all stakeholders can come together. That's more meaningful. Mr. Amarnath also touched base on some of the few critical points, which I would like to just summarize. That why BIM is going to play a very important role. It's all about data sharing. After 10 years of construction, or after 15 years of construction, or after 50 years of construction, how we can get the data from a model which is not possible. So he did mention about data drops. He mentioned about who should get how much data, when he should get, and how to regulate this data. Dr. Amarnath also summarized that various stages of BIM, right from an LOD 100 stage to an LOD 500 stage, and what does it means about graphical or a non-graphical or a documentation perspective. We mentioned about various softwares which are available in the market, but also the need about having an integrated software so that the BIM generation can be a little easier. Dr. Amarnath also mentioned about the current engagement where clients mostly remain disengaged at a level, and to me personally, I call those kind of clients as passive clients. Passive clients who are willing to invest in a BIM, but they really don't know what to extract out of BIM. Is it because a proper BIM protocol is not available, or is it the requirements are not being noticed? So Dr. Amarnath touched base about having a important aspect of establishing a clear strategy on the BIM, so that everyone or every stakeholder like L&T knows exactly what the end goal is about. Based on this, the foundations can be done. He mentioned about a lot of collaboration, a lot of active work which can happen to the BIM. Mr. Suresh also did touch base on that, but a very, very key point which came out was that while technology is important, it is also about communication, and communication. This is something which a BIM and effective model will be able to present something. We today want to work together on setting up some national building codes because we are still on an ISO BIM schedule. Dr. Amarnath is actively working on setting up policies for education and setting up research labs, which is fantastic from everyone's perspective. The ROI is important. That was another point which he touched base. But overall, a very nice presentation, and I should congratulate Dr. Amarnath on this. Dr. Amarnath, there are certain questions which are there on the chat boxes. Will you be ready to take them up, please?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Jatin.
Yeah. The first question is from, I would just take it like, is from Professor Manjunath Gowda from KL SGIT. He's planning to set up a BIM laboratory for the students, and like what you have done for within L&T and within the site, will you be able to suggest to him that how to go about it, and will you be well focused? Mr. Suresh also mentioned that focus and you can take an active role on this, but your views on this, Dr. Amarnath.
Yeah. So on this, especially, we do have institutional membership in the BIM Association. We do support the universities on these lines. That can be one area. And also, if we can connect on us, we will be able to guide him on those lines.
Sure.
Number one, it's about multidisciplinary education, wherein if he's thinking about BIM in his university, it should be a kind of common program for architects or a structural or civil or a construction management, and also the management schools students come together as one of the common course can be launched first. so that everyone understands this is going to be my role in the projects, especially which is going to be with BIM.
Wonderful, wonderful. Sir, another question from Mr. Anand Joshi, that how BIM software can help in planning physical security infrastructure management in terms of video security or an access control or intrusion alarm and perimeter security system.
Yeah, so when you want to fix such security items, including cameras, sensors, and all, with the BIM model, you'll be able to identify. You can fix the BIM model and see what is the location that that coverage of a camera can give. Then where should be the next camera come in? What is the coverage that sensors can give? Linking those on the BIM model during the simulations will help you to know where is the exact positions, so that you can cover the whole facility for the surveillance. Another thing is, after you fix it, during the facility management, the data from the facilities, the cameras and sensors can directly flow into the BIM model. That's where the smart facility management comes in.
So, this is including the access control and even at the site level security, like under vehicle scanners or all that can be established in the BIM model very clearly, right?
Yeah, it's BIM model is nothing but a model which has all the data. You can integrate whatever the URLs or sensor links and everything. Whatever the data gets generated can be used for better benefits.
Wonderful. A third question from Mr. Raghavendran, that considering the digital transformation in the AC industry, still most of the project runs in a conventional mode. And possibly the BIM is limited to only about 4D. Is software the main reason because of the cost, or is there a solution to this? You touched base about having a lot of softwares and VR possibilities. So this is, I think, a question which is tied up together.
Yeah, the main concern for any small or mid-scale companies may not be for a large scale about the cost of the software or a hardware requirements and the professionals available to use it. That may be the number one concern, but the main reason is there is no strategic team to decide on what is the way forward. There is, if I say about a modeling software, which is a design authoring software, there is a XYZ software which costs you 1 to 2 lakh rupees per year, and there is a software which costs you 10 to 15,000 per year. Maybe you've not heard of that software, so you're not used it, or you may feel that software is expensive. So strategic team need to make sure what is the real requirement for the project implementation and need to make a proper decision. And also another concern is, maybe mine is a small project. The project work on a BIM maybe just 3 months, but I need to purchase a 1-year license, which is pretty cumbersome. I need to pay for the whole 1 year. But there are some softwares which provide you an option of monthly subscriptions.
You also mentioned about open softwares being available, which can be used by certain, consultants to generate a BIM model in your presentation. Yeah.
Yes.
So great. There's another question from a gentleman. How to use BIM in building management system? I think you touched base upon that, but if you can still elaborate that.
Okay, what happens is currently we have a very good team in Indian market to do the technical BIM. That means design phase BIM. Develop a very nice LOD 350 models and give it to the site team. And what's happening with the site teams are they're again extracting the drawings from that and just using drawings. They're not using BIM model. That's where a challenge is. But if they start using the BIM models, keeping the concerns of using the hardware again or AR/VR devices, using it for safety, quality, then also capturing the site data, you have a digital twin during the handover, which is a virtual asset of your physical facility. And once you have the digital twin model, you can integrate with your CMMS or CFM integration management systems. And the same model can be used for moderating your facilities for the next down the line 40, 50 years. So there are also BIM software solutions available for facility management. So they may need to, first of all, they need to have a digital twin model and then integrate this digital twin model for the facility management systems. So that down the line, I want to do some 10 years later, I want to know some information, some HVAC system has got damaged, then or some issue with an equipment. So I can just click on that. I know what kind of equipment, what kind of product. I don't need to send the facility manager to the site and then find out and go back. It's a rework. So the data is available on the model. And any changes happen, I revise the equipment or something, then I update back to the model again. That becomes a record keeping model. So first is BIM, Next is
Yeah.
district, then comes a record keeping model for the facility
Right.
management.
Right. One gentleman, Mr. Kapish, has asked that how should he get? It was very impressive work which you are trying to do on the safety thing, which is still, I think, a work in progress. But if someone wants to gain a knowledge on skills regarding this BIM and safety and via simulation softwares like User, is it possible to get in touch with someone in your company or with you to gain this knowledge, or is it available? Are there some courses which are available which can be taken up by the team here?
Recently, I have done one session for MHRD IIT Delhi NPTEL program, which is on BIM for safety, just a 20-minute session. I'll be able to share that link if they can touch base with me on WhatsApp. That is number one. Second thing is, if you are running a company, you just need to directly touch base with these tech vendors who is having that safety solutions. They'll be able to give better knowledge on that because they want to sell their product than what I can give. They will be the experts because they develop their solutions and they'll be able to give further. But Fuser is a little bit expensive, something 7 to 8 lakhs per year license. But that becomes a challenge again for implementation. Synchro is something like 4 to 5 lakhs per license. That's again a challenge. So there's a need for such softwares to be available for in thousands also, like how we have for modeling. One of the software vendor, if I want to name, Aeco softwares from Italy. They have a wonderful solutions like Open Bim Platform. It's completely open Bim. That means I do anything in this softwares of Aeco, I can open it in any other software vendor's platform. And first of all, it works on a IFC, which is a commonly neutral format agreed by all the tech vendors. Second thing, the software pricing is in such a way that 10 to 25,000 maximum per year license, and which you can also decide you want 1 month, 2 month, 3 months like that. So hardly you'll be spending 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. This kind of model will work very good for a small scale and mid scale companies. And for large scale, it's fine that 8 lakhs, 5 lakhs things will be okay. I think.
Right.
Again, depending on the size of my company, what is that I'm looking in, what is my investment, what is that I need to do? I need to make a decision on what tools I need to go with.
Right. A very interesting question from Mr. Jay, that how can we utilize them in real-time analysis to generate scenes of fire, which might be involving hydrocarbons or fire or smoke or toxic gases in case of, especially critical sectors like hospitals or high rises. Is it possible to do those kind of simulation and then with the help of simulation actually do the designs before actually the execution happens?
So the software which is Fuser can do all these things. The reason it's a little bit expensive is it has more benefits.
Which software? Which software? Sorry.
Fuser, if Fuser.
Fuser. Okay. Okay.
They can do that kind of simulations.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Great. I think, Ravi, how much time do we have? I can take a few more, or should I? I mean, it's on the Q&A. I think we can answer the questions separately.
Yeah, you can take 2 more, Jatin.
Sure. I would, another question which is regarding that from Mr. Bhavani Prasad, that first of all, he has congratulated you on an excellent overview. Wish you, you want, if there's a possibility that, are there issues with the data ownership with respect to the BIM or integration? Do you foresee that happening in most of the projects? Are there restrictions of copying data one partner by another partner who has been given an access, or by the BIM software providers like Autodesk? Do you foresee this challenge happening when you develop a BIM model?
Okay. When it comes to very secure projects, recently I had one session with military Indian services with defense and DRDO project directors. Now the main concern comes is data, because what happened, we are saying common data environment software is available in the market from Autodesk, Bentley and XYZ vendor. Most of their data, when we put on their platform, it goes and sits in the data center in another country. This is a major challenge we have, and I think recently the government initiative is also coming that any data cannot go out of the country and the data centers need to be set up within the country. And still we don't see that kind of directioning from the tech vendors yet. And the best thing, if you're saying about data of an organization at a whole, it's better to have internal servers and have the BIM softwares deployed on that, and so that your data is secured within the organization. Second, it's within the organization between the different parties. That's another data concern, which can be easily resolved through the CDA platforms, where you can decide what data is accessible for which party. That security concerns can be set in within the model.
Okay. Okay. So that's what you mentioned about having a secured access or give what information and how to give. So that security setups can be done on the BIM level software. But do you still find a challenge from the software suppliers like Autodesk or someone when they say there are restrictions, or it is available? Can they regulate the data sharing or at their company level, or it is available? Once you buy the software license, you can share any data.
Okay, if you ask me about the software vendors, I don't want to comment on the closed BIM software vendors,
Right.
whatever the names which you are given. There are so many vendors outside the market. If
Sure.
you can bring them on board in the Indian market, there's a lot can be done, and there may be pricing maybe a little bit reasonable, and things can work out better for a small and mid-scale companies. The reason is only the business development teams of these tech vendors are in the Indian market, and people know this is the only software available. They get test with that, and then later they feel it's expensive and so on. There's so many vendors having a software's pricing in the thousands to lakhs.
Right.
So strategic decision to be made.
I think, thank you, Dr. Amarnath. It was a really informative session. We learned a lot of things about BIM, especially at a personal level, I was not aware of the BIM utilization on a smart city and the kind of the levels leading up to something which is matured or sophisticated. That was a new learning for me myself at my level.
Jatin, can
Thank
I
you so much.
ask a question?
Yes, sir. Sir, sorry, please.
No,
Mr.
no, no, I
Suresh.
don't want to interview. You got it very rightly. What I want to ask Amarnath, a good friend, young good friend, is how do we really accelerate the BIM adoption in a large way? You know, my own indication, understanding the sector for the last 5.5 decades is that the BIM adoption in the Indian construction industry is not even penetrated 5%. The 95% of the construction in this country at the planning level or design level or construction level or operation level, the BIM applications have not really found, excepting for the top builders, top designers, top projects, etc., etc. What are the ways by which we can accelerate? If we can have a roadmap for that, and what 3 or 4 things that we should do? I'm happy that some of the education institutions have already asked the question. They want to do something in their college, and already Amarnath has said which are the IITs they're doing and which are the other engineering colleges are doing, etc., etc. Possibly, what can be done at the education level, what can be done at the process design level, at the construction level, builders level, etc. If you can get me 3 or 4 action points, I'm sure and of course, representing you, Jatin, is on the assets and facility management and real estate advisory one. What can be done? How can you fast track? How can you make that 5% level to 10% or 15% or 20% in the next 5 years' time? Focus is there, IBMA is there. What are the things we can do together?
Okay, thank you, sir. This is the key for driving the change.
Yeah.
What I would say is this is an initiative that need to be taken seriously from the Union Government of India. It may be from Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Ministry of
or Niti Aayog.
Niti Aayog, Ministry of Education.
No. That is from the next Planning Commission, which is the highest planning body, because you have least amount of wastage to come projects to be done on time, with least amount of delay in cost overrun, time overrun. You know what I mean? Optimal use of resources. Niti Aayog could be one area. Education, of course, is right. You said. Please go ahead. Let me not interrupt you.
So some of these ministries, which is linked with the buildings or smart cities or infrastructure, need to be activated. We need to give them an awareness of what BIM can bring for them for the operations as the return on investment, because the returns for the client is only during the operation phase. The returns for the contractors is mainly during the construction phase. Returns for the design team is during the design phase. So if I need to see for the clients the benefits, we need to have a digital twin at the end of the handover phase. And how this the clients can use it for their facility operation, that's where they can realize the returns. And the awareness and it's all about top-down approach for our country. It's all top-down approach. If there's a mandates coming on BIM for their projects in their for their projects, and making sure everyone who has to bid for their projects has to go through the BIM way, and that's where the change comes in. Because until someone asks me, I won't be able to do that. That's the kind of mindset we have in India. And these ministries, if we have a kind of drive coming in, recently I see that we had a discussions with CPWD, and when a British High Commission is coming in, their interest to have a strategy meeting. But when there's an Indian team coming, there's no conversation on that. So there should be a kind of drive what Indian team can have or approach them and have such awareness and mandates.
Possibly integrated approach, which is on the demand side and supply side. Demand side means the departments and construction agencies are demanding this, that I want BIM to come, BIM mandate to come. Then the next one is supply side. Who will do that? How are you going to create all the present executive engineers or design engineers or implementing engineers or architects and others who are dealing in private sector and government sector? How are you going to equip them with all the BIM tools? So both the demand side intervention, supply side would be needed. Don't you agree, Jatin?
Yes, supply side.
Sorry.
Yeah, both can give the reply.
Yeah, my point was, sir, here that, like what we have made now, digital submissions compulsory in most of the authorities, right?
Yeah.
If we can make the digital submissions and go up to the ladder and make digital submission in form of BIM models compulsory instead of CAD drawings, which have been made mandatory, this will drive a bigger change. As Dr. Amarnath was also mentioning that it is in country is top down. Dubai also faced this issue, and Dubai now everything is mandatorily submitted, has to be submitted in BIM model. Otherwise, they don't even accept the submissions. So some kind of your influence, your reach to the ministry and to the NITI Aayog at your level, sir, is definitely going to help the industry. And as you rightly mentioned, and Dr. Amarnath was also mentioning that it is about educating client. I think my 20 years of experience of doing this project management, I have understood that the 90% or 95% of clients don't even know what is BIM all about and what are advantages of this BIM can be taken up. There has to be a highly interactive sessions, including possibly top 40 developers who can be just called in a forum and told what opportunities BIM can give. I think that is what is education and stick possibly. Both things might work. Apart from also, it will require a lot of investment by the ministry and by the state government to ensure this infrastructure is actually available in the government bodies itself to even accept those submissions, to even review those submissions, because half the people are not even trained. So a lot of education policy before we are ready to implement it should be parallelly taken up. These are the three-pronged approaches. If we are able to do it, sir, it will go a long way in taking country to the next level.
I also like to add on here, sir, with respect to services. If you're saying about the design capability teams in India, that's the best team in India than any other country has. That's number one. So there is no difficulty in getting the design services. When it comes to construction activities, that has to be matured. So there are so many tech vendors available. Obviously, they like to be part of it. But again, the clients, when they're mandating, they should understand what is neutral BIM, what is open BIM, rather than giving that hand support fully for one tech vendor. Because it's not about one technology, it's about different technologies from different vendors. And it's about a neutral drive, which is done in many countries. It's not just XYZ vendor going and mandating BIM from NITI Aayog. I don't want to name the names of the companies, but that's not the drive by one tech vendor doing for NITI Aayog or for another one. Maybe one service provider going and driving that in another company. And this is what is happening by the major tech vendors sitting in the country. They're driving it through the different ministries. That's not BIM. It should be a neutral way of driving. And then the proper BIM implementation ecosystem happens.
Our colleague Satish Iyengar has got brought, who is also a treasurer, has raised a good point.
cost has to be brought down for private builders to start using BIM? And your opinion and roadmap on this, Doctor?
Okay, sir, cost of BIM, if you look into any other country, India is the one which can give the best cost, Indian companies, but you need to make sure the reason they may charge a bit high because I'm a company with 50 people roughly, if I say, and I'm getting some foreign project, they give me in dollars or euros or pounds, and you are an Indian company, you're giving me a project. Obviously, the company will focus on the company which is getting from a foreigner than the Indian company. That's one challenge, but it can be reasonably negotiated. There are so many startups and youngsters are able to give it for a better price. When you say about BIM software pricing, again, as I said, there are softwares which are in 1,000 rupees licensing to the 1 lakh rupee licensing. Again, it's a decision making in the company.
Well, why don't you put why don't you put a percentage of the cost? For example,
Sir, it is,
the total project cost, if the total project cost is X or whatever, now what is the soft cost for design? Namely, money to be paid to an architect, the MEPF consultant, all the specialists. What is the design cost for all that together? Maybe around 2 to 2.5%. Maybe construction altogether could be around 4% for project management, etc. And this component of the BIM input might be only maybe 1 by 100 of the total cost on the soft cost, isn't it? What will be the cost finally?
Sir, it is coming to Suresh, sir. What's happening is we have been associated with some projects where we use the BIM consultancy, and it was a integrated approach.
Yes.
What Mr. Satish also mentioned, actually the cost varies between 10 rupee per square feet to about 20 rupees a square feet. That's a variation for a full scope BIM, right from involving them at the design stage to ensuring that shop drawings are being reflected properly and the schedule management happens till the handing over to the facility management team.
But Jatinji,
So
that's a very 10 to 20 rupees a square feet.
Yeah.
When you do the actual cost of the delivery around 3,000 to 4,000 rupees a square feet, and actually commercial value of selling the property going to 10,000 to 15 or 20,000 rupees, depending on location. It's a very small drop in the ocean,
very small amount, sir. It's about 0.5%.
And imagine, and that small cost that you incur over there, you more than make it up in the wastages coming down, everything positive. We got to project it in that way. We don't have to reduce from 10 rupees down to 5 rupees. What I'm telling Satish, a direct answer. These are all efficient tools that we do on that. When you do a blunt tool, you can do it. When you do efficient tools in your processes over there, it will have a small little cost, marginal cost. Why are you using software? Why can't you close all the computers? And it has a cost involved in that. What I'm trying to, but things are more efficient by dealing with the IT in the environment. I told you about Part 8, Section 6 of the NBC bring ICT in the built environment, information communication technology in a big way in the built environment. So it's a very, very small cost, but the benefits far outweighs the type of small cost on that. That's what I feel.
It is not a cost to me because
10 to 20 rupees per square feet is no cost.
No, because the cost of the BIM model actually helps the facility management team in a more effective. So that's what we were talking about, digital twinning. It's the next level of the BIM, which I think once we once we take our country to that level, we can take it up to the digital twinning at the next level. But currently,
I'm glad you made you link on that. I said you will answer. Even in his phase 1, 2, 3, 4 also put digital twinning. He has also put digital twinning partly for stage 2 also, if I see it. Yeah. So digital twinning is normally used in the assets and facility management. BIM is a larger umbrella that's coming. I'm glad you clarified that. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, if I thought it'll be good message on if you're able to bring out an action plan, specifically what are the 5 things or 10 things need to be done to make BIM as a very important management tool for all concerned stakeholders dealing in the construction industry. That'll cover everybody. Then that'll be very, very useful action. And then we can see how to go about. It can be a joint initiative between IBMA and Focus to work together. What do you say, Amarnath?
Yes, sir. Obviously, I would say yes. So number one, it's a top-down approach, mandates from most of the clients that may be the one of the thing where the client is demanding. And another side, team building within the Indian ecosystem, which may be starting with education sector, then the professionals, support at that level, and also bringing these people in the ecosystem together so that they can activate the projects with BIM. I think these are the 3 points I would say. One is mandate. Second thing is awareness and team building. Third is bringing them all together.
Yeah,
All thing and everything.
yeah. No, I think, sir, this session was a very, very interactive session. It is very useful session, a personal learning for me as well. And we heard a lot of things, a lot of guidance from you, Mr. Suresh, on this. I think I'm sure, doctor will work on those things along with focus team, and we will deliver something for you to take it up to the next step.
We can have a larger session, maybe instead of this 2 hours or 1 hour, maybe a half day program, maybe design level design stage or initial stage can be taken over half an hour to 1 hour. Then construction stage, we can take another half an hour to 1 hour. Then the post completion and occupancy and use stage can be another half. So that means if we are able to do that, they get a total full picture. Now we have just been able to get, what can I say, a broad overview and maybe a mile-long, inch-deep approach. We require an inch-long, mile-deep approach on each of the segment. Maybe a half-day program of around 3 hours would be the good one that we would elevate it to. A joint initiative we can work with Focus and IBEMA and maybe CREDAI can join in that, or NAREDCO, whichever be the agents, builders and developers also will come in a larger. We'll try to get the government also to come and participate, government departments, CPWD, its name is mentioned there. I just thought I'll tell you, CPWD is building for the whole country, if you look, is not even 0.0005% of what is happening. Hardly a few buildings over there in Delhi, a government buildings over there is all, but defense is important. Ministry of Defense construction cost is much, much more of cantonments and their forward activities, etc. Army people, they are much more in building construction than CPWD itself. But it's a big organization, but the amount of contribution they are doing over there is very, very much. For example, you should try to see whether BIM is introduced for the large project, the new Parliament building and the Central Vista project. Which Patel is, our whole team is working from Ahmedabad dealing with. They are the lead consultants for that. They are spending around 383 crores only on consultancy costs. You're aware of that. So BIM, I'm sure BIM must be utilized, must be introduced.
Yes,
Amanal can check up that.
Yeah, so there are some questions I just want to answer. People are saying it's expensive, it's expensive, it's expensive. I would say it's like a solar panel that you install on your house. When you are installing, it's expensive. Even it's like an electric car which you are purchasing in the market. It's expensive when you purchase it. But when you start using it, it becomes cheaper than any other application. So you get it only when you are using it for operations. Because BIM also plays a major role the same way.
Namely, the operating cost will that will more than in less than about 4 months or 5 months you make up the cost what you invest. That's what you mean?
So when there is operations, you can reduce the number of people for your facility management team.
I know that's what I meant by savings that you do in the operating cost over there. You will be able to take care of the capital costs you put on these equipments and machines. That's what you mean, isn't it?
Plus, you will get more benefits other than what you have invested.
Sir, so I would, sir, to be very honest, by using BIM, I've been able to, deliver a project within the schedule. So the cost overruns or the time overruns, and which can be avoided by using clash detection, etc., has been more meaningful or beneficial. I think the developers tend to gain more by looking at those aspects apart from the facility management usage which happens. This one important aspect people tend to miss out. There are clash detections, and to redo those services, it's a cost, or the schedule overrun is a cost. So if you which cannot be put into a number, and this is what something which we need to possibly work together.
Good, very good. Any more questions are there?
There is one question on Bim and Revit. Okay, Revit is a software that is used to develop a BIM model. There is no, so people get confused. Many people think Revit is the main thing, and it's a design authoring software from Autodesk for developing a model. Same like Revit from Autodesk, you have 20 to 30 softwares from other vendors you can use. Aeco from Bentley, and there are different softwares from different vendors. So depending on if it's a building sector projects, infra projects, you decide which softwares you want to go with. So Revit is a software to develop a BIM model.
Absolutely.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you, Architect Jatin Shah. I think
Thank
you
you.
did a fantastic job of collating all these questions. And
Very nice, very well done.
yeah, thank you very much. President Suresh, you, as usual, bring out the most pertinent questions for any discussion. Thank you very much. Dr. Amarnath, even in spite of, I hope it is not COVID, I sincerely hope it's just a mild fever. I wish you health. I wish you very quick recovery. Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation, but we are not done as yet. Uh, we want to give our participants the opportunity to watch our sponsors video once again, and after that we have the vote of thanks by our General Secretary. Could we have the sponsors presentation, please?
An eye to see, an eye to believe. The country needs both to be awakened. Eyes that have captured the past, envision the future. A future with a bird's eye view, a perception of truth. Perception from the eyes forms the point of view for the nation. A greater vision is needed to make a nation. A vision that truly depicts India. India that is poised to lead the world tomorrow. As India confidently sets its eyes on a glorious future, we provide the eyes that protect and support. We are India's leading security and surveillance product manufacturer. We, at Prama Hikvision India, make a varied variety of security products that help us touch millions of lives across India and the world. Our belief in Government of India's Make in India mission is reflected in our new ultra-modern manufacturing setup near Mumbai that is spread in a vast expanse of over 9 lakh square feet. This state-of-the-art facility has a capacity of producing 8 lakh high-quality cameras and 1 lakh back-end devices per month. All of this by our highly skilled Indian youth. With our intricately spread network across India and a dedicated workforce of over 2,000 employees, we are here to safeguard you. As India advances on the path of development, we walk along to protect and shield. Made for India. Made by India. Made in India. Prama Hikvision India. And
Thank you, Prama Hikvision. Now I have the honor of inviting our General Secretary, Mr. Aeco Narasimhan, to deliver the vote of thanks. Mr. Narasimhan is Vice President, Strategic Business Alliances, Prama Hikvision. He has vast experience spanning over 37 years in handling the government agencies and public sector undertakings. He is known in the industry for his excellence in project management and business development. He is known in the industry for his contribution to many successful projects. He has served in senior management positions with some of the leading organizations in India. That's Mr. Narasimhan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ravi Shankar. Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Focus, as the General Secretary, I thank each one of you for your participation in today's webinar event. Our special thanks to our President, Mr. V. Suresh, for his wonderful words of wisdom. With over 56 years of experience in the building construction industry, he has been a guiding force to each one of us in Focus. Thanks to Dr. C.B. Amarnath, who is also a proud member of our Development and Governing Council of Focus. They say in Hindi, Murti Choti or Kirti Badi. This phrase exactly fits in for Dr. Amarnath. He is a pleasant person with great knowledge and experience. Thank you, Dr. Amarnath, once again for sharing your thoughts. Our sincere thanks to Mr. Jatin Shah for his excellent presentation. He is also an enthusiastic member of our Focus Development Council as Vice Chair Project Management. Our special thanks to Mr. Ashish P. Dhakan, Managing Director and CEO of Prama Equation India Private Limited, for his magnanimity in sponsoring today's event. He is also our founder member and Chairman Security Committee in Focus. He is one of the pillars of strength in the growth of Focus as a formidable association. Our wholehearted thanks to Mr. KP Dominic, Chairman Events and Marketing, and also Regional Chair South, for his leadership, marketing skills, and dynamism to take Focus into new heights. Special thanks to Mr. Ravi Shankar Tandavan for organizing and presenting in today's event. He has great knowledge on policy matters, interpersonal and presentation skills. Our humble thanks to the Blue and Grey team, especially Mr. Martin, for supporting Focus from the day of inception. Applause and thanks to Ms. Mamata Nagaraj for her tireless work and organizing skills. Last but not the least, each one of you for your support and participation in today's webinar event. Focus as a sapling was planted by 14 stalwarts from the critical utilities services sector on 26th of October 20 and is expected to grow huge over a period of time. The fruits of this tree will be shared by each one of us if we are aligned with it. It will provide shade for all to integrate and grow. Please join Focus by becoming its member and enjoy its fruits of success. The next webinar series will be related to security, surveillance, and solution, which will happen in the first week of May 2021. The invitation details will be shared with all of you. You are all requested to join. Thank you very much and have a safe weekend.
Thank you, Mr. Narasimhan. Thank you very much. Thank you, all the participants. Our special